Hello, Hoop fans. Kokan is back with you. Today's NBA game forecasts have been provided by Chris. As he couldn't record a video due to some unforeseen events, I'll be sharing his predictions with you. Let's dive in. The first prediction for today is for the game between Atlanta Hawks and Philadelphia 76ers. Tonight's clash between the Atlanta Hawks and the Philadelphia 76ers promises to be a riveting affair, with both squads hungry for a win to pivot from their recent shaky performances. The Hawks, with a record that's been hit or miss over their last 8 outings, including a notable win against the Warriors, but letdowns against the Clippers and Celtics, are looking to regain their stride. Meanwhile, the 76ers are on the hunt for a comeback, having dropped 7 out of their last 8, clearly struggling to hit their stride on the hardwood. Leading the charge for the Hawks is Trae Young, who's been lighting up the scoreboard with an average of 27.1 points per game, powering an offense that's putting up 121.5 points on 46.5% shooting. However, their defensive game has been less than stellar, giving up 124 points on 50.4% shooting. The 76ers, with Tyrese Maxey dropping 25.6 points per game, boast a more robust defense, allowing 113.7 points on 47.1% shooting, giving them a slight defensive advantage over the Hawks. With both teams facing lineup challenges, the Hawks possibly without DeJounte Murray and Capella, and the 76ers missing key players like Batum, Embiid, and Melton, the game's outcome could hinge on these absences. Despite the Hawks' defensive woes and the 76ers' recent struggles to contain their rivals, the matchup is poised for an intense showdown. Historically, the Hawks have had the upper hand against the 76ers in their city, especially following a loss. Yet, both teams have had their struggles in the initial game of back-to-backs, with the Hawks failing to cover in their last 7 attempts and the 76ers not faring much better. Victory could come down to shooting efficiency and rebounding, with the Hawks holding a marginal advantage in board control. Despite the 76ers' home court advantage and the recent performance trends in Philadelphia, their defensive challenges might not stand up to the Hawks' offensive onslaught. Anticipating a high-scoring game due to the defensive shortcomings on both sides, the Hawks' offensive depth is expected to challenge the 76ers' defensive gaps. Although the 76ers have shown grit as home underdogs against Southeast Division teams, the Hawks' scoring prowess and slightly superior rebounding are likely to prevail in a nail-biter. The final score is expected to exceed the predicted total points, with the Hawks poised to edge out a victory, but the 76ers are predicted to keep it within the 4.5-point spread in a tight contest. My bet is on the Philadelphia 76ers to cover a 4.5-point spread. The next prediction for today is for the game between Washington Wizards and Boston Celtics. In the high-voltage arena of the NBA, an intriguing showdown looms as the Washington Wizards are set to clash with the Boston Celtics in the legendary confines of TD Garden. The Wizards, caught in a whirlwind of a 4-game losing streak, are hungry for a win against a Celtics squad that's been ruling the court, boasting victories in 4 out of their last 5 matchups. This game not only spotlights the divergent paths each team has taken recently, but also dives into the analytics that have shaped their seasons. Despite their recent downturn, the Wizards have proven their ability to light up the scoreboard with an average of 114.5 points on a 47.5% field goal rate. Yet their defensive struggles are stark, conceding an average of 123.8 points at a 49.6% rate to their opponents. Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole have been standouts, though the team's difficulties in three-point shooting and defense, particularly allowing a 37.4% success rate from downtown, have been major stumbling blocks. Conversely, the Celtics exhibit a formidable offensive prowess, averaging 120.4 points on a 47.8% shooting efficiency, led by the explosive duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Their defense also stands strong, limiting foes to just 110.8 points on a 44.9% shooting. The Celtics' sharp shooting from beyond the arc and their dominance on the boards, averaging 47.5 rebounds per game, give them a distinct edge. A deeper dive into historical matchups and team statistics unveils further insights. The Celtics have an unmatched record at home against Eastern Conference rivals, with 18 consecutive wins in such games. Yet, their performance against the spread, particularly after a win, hints at possible vulnerabilities. The Wizards, with their road struggles against winning teams, confront a daunting task, especially in the stronghold of TD Garden, where they've historically struggled to beat the spread. The narrative leans towards the Celtics, with their efficient scoring and solid defense, especially on their home turf, positioning them as the frontrunners. The Wizards' recent form, marked by inefficiency and defensive frailties, underscores the uphill battle they face. Analyzing their head-to-head history at TD Garden, the Celtics' home court supremacy is evident, further highlighting the Wizards' challenges against strong hosts. Considering the team's statistical performance and historical dominance at home, the Celtics are tipped as the favorites. Nevertheless, the wide point spread introduces a dilemma. The Celtics, for all their strength, have had difficulty covering large spreads, suggesting a tighter contest than expected. The Wizards, facing a rare underdog status this season, might find extra motivation to close the gap. In summary, while the Celtics are poised for victory with their home advantage and statistical superiority, the point spread presents a complex betting landscape. The Wizards, despite their trials, could defy the odds to cover the 17-point spread, driven by the urgency to snap their losing streak. The total points are expected to fall below 238.5, reflecting the Celtics' defensive solidity at home and the Wizards' scoring challenges. My prediction is for the Wizards to beat the spread, with total points under 238.5. For those looking to wager on this matchup, my advice would be to bet on the total points staying under 238.5. The next prediction for today is for the game between Houston Rockets and Toronto Raptors. As the Houston Rockets prepare to hit the Scotiabank Arena floor against the Toronto Raptors, it's a critical moment for both squads, each grappling with their own consistency challenges. The Rockets, feeling the heat after dropping 6 of their last 9, are hungry for a turnaround, particularly stinging from a tight loss to the Pacers. Meanwhile, the Raptors aim to shake off the cobwebs of a tough season, highlighted by 12 defeats in their last 15 outings, despite a recent win over the Hornets. Zooming in, the Rockets have flashed some offensive firepower, clocking in at an average of 113.7 points on 46.4% shooting. Stars like Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green have been at the heart of this surge, with Sengun posting averages of 21.6 points and 9.3 rebounds, and Green adding 18.4 points per game. Their prowess from the three-point line at 35.2% could be a game-changer, especially against the Raptors' defense, which has been vulnerable to deep shots, allowing 37.8%. The Raptors, notching 114.5 points on 48% shooting, have shown their mettle, largely thanks to the explosive duo of R.J. Barrett and Scotty Barnes. Yet, their defensive shortcomings, conceding 117.7 points on 48.8% shooting, might just be their downfall, particularly against a Rockets team keen to exploit any opening. Looking at past clashes, the Rockets have a slight edge, winning 5 and beating the spread in 8 of their last 10 matchups with the Raptors. This history, coupled with the Rockets' scoring form and the Raptors' defensive woes, hints at a tight but potentially victorious game for the visitors. Injury updates and team stats also point to key influencers. The Raptors' sharpshooting, led by Gary Trent Jr., faces off against the Rockets' defensive might, particularly their third-ranked opposition three-point shooting percentage. The Rockets' defense against the three could tip the scales in a closely fought game. Considering everything, including how both teams fare in back-to-back games and their recent form, the prediction tilts towards the Houston Rockets defying the odds. Despite being underdogs and facing their own hurdles, the Rockets' offensive surge, alongside the Raptors' defensive issues and dismal record against Western Conference foes, tips the scales in favor of Houston. To sum up, while both teams bring their unique strengths and challenges to the court, the Houston Rockets' offensive momentum, historical dominance over the Raptors, and Toronto's defensive gaps lean towards a Houston win. It's shaping up to be a nail-biter, but the Rockets' strategy and grit are likely to help them beat the spread and snag a victory on the road. My money is on the Houston Rockets to overcome the 2-point spread. The next prediction for today is for the game between Charlotte Hornets and Milwaukee Bucks. In the electric vibe of the NBA arena, the face-off between the Charlotte Hornets and the Milwaukee Bucks is gearing up to be a riveting showdown. The Hornets, itching to break free from a tough 9-game skid, are up against a Bucks squad looking to regain their rhythm after a rough patch, losing 5 out of their last 6 outings. This clash isn't just about snapping losing streaks. It's a battle of who can harness their strengths and outmaneuver their rivals' vulnerabilities. Despite the Hornets' current slump, they've had moments of brilliance, averaging 108.7 points on 45.9% shooting. Consistency has eluded them on both ends. LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges have stood out, with Ball dropping 23.9 points and Bridges adding 21.9 points per tilt. Yet, their defense leaves much to be desired, giving up 120.4 points on 50.5% shooting, and their three-point defense, allowing 39.8%, has been a glaring issue. Conversely, the Bucks, with Giannis Antetokounmpo at the helm, averaging 31.3 points and snagging 11.3 boards, are a force on offense. Scoring 123 points on 49.6% shooting, their attack is formidable. However, their defense mirrors the Hornets, being a weak link and conceding 120 points on 47.7% shooting. But the Bucks excel in rebounding, thanks to Antetokounmpo, giving them an upper hand in dictating the game's tempo. Looking at previous encounters, home court advantage has been pivotal, with both squads maximizing their home turf to notch wins. Moreover, the Bucks' recent defensive woes, ranking 22nd in efficiency, present an opportunity for the Hornets to exploit. Injury updates could be crucial, with the Bucks possibly without stars like Damian Lillard and Chris Middleton, challenging their depth and offensive firepower. This situation presents the Hornets with a golden chance to strike, especially against the Bucks' faltering defense. Considering these factors, this matchup might be tighter than the initial 15-point spread indicates. The Bucks, battling defensive issues and potential fatigue, may struggle to fully leverage their offensive might. The Hornets, meanwhile, could seize this chance to challenge the Bucks' defensive lapses and cover the spread, possibly even clinching a desperately needed victory. To wrap up, while the Bucks are the favorites, their defensive struggles, potential absences of key players, and the Hornets' eagerness to end their losing streak set the stage for a more competitive game than expected. Expect the Hornets to cover the spread, utilizing their strengths and capitalizing on the Bucks' vulnerabilities. The decisive factor will be which team can better overcome their defensive flaws and seize offensive chances. My prediction is for the Charlotte Hornets to beat the plus 15-point spread. The next prediction for today is for the game between Denver Nuggets and Sacramento Kings. In the electric atmosphere of the NBA, the showdown between the Denver Nuggets and the Sacramento Kings is shaping up to be a spectacle that will captivate both hoops enthusiasts and wagering experts. The Nuggets, fueled by a wave of victories, including impressive wins against the Trailblazers and Lakers, come into this game with their team synergy at peak levels. They're putting up an impressive 114.8 points per game on a 49.4% shooting rate, while their defense holds opponents to just 110.5 points on 46.7% shooting. Nikola Jokic, the cornerstone of their success, is on a tear with averages of 26.3 points and 12.2 rebounds, with Jamal Murray adding 21 points and Michael Porter Jr. making significant scoring contributions. Meanwhile, the Sacramento Kings, in their quest for steadiness, have shown sparks of brilliance in their offense by averaging 118.4 points on 48.1% shooting, despite their defensive lapses, allowing 118.1 points on 48.8% shooting. De'Aaron Fox is at the forefront with 26.9 points, and Domantas Sabonis is consistently hitting double-doubles, highlighting a squad that excels offensively but is found wanting on defense. Digging deeper into the matchup, the Kings excel in cutting down opponent offensive rebounds, crucial against a Denver team that thrives on second-chance points. But Sacramento's struggle at the free throw line, with the league's lowest percentage, could be their downfall in a nail-biter. Denver, on the other hand, shines in limiting opponents' success from beyond the arc, a key part of their defensive game plan poised to challenge the Kings' perimeter shooting. Historically, the Kings have leveraged their home court advantage against the Nuggets, taking 2 of the last 3 games in Sacramento. This, combined with Denver's performance in back-to-back games, where their record against the spread is 3-6, hints at potential fatigue impacting this game. Denver's away game stats, including a 16th place in offensive efficiency and a negative net rating, starkly contrast with the Kings' robust performance on their home turf, where they not only match but exceed Denver's scoring with a better net rating. Considering all factors, the scales tip in favor of the Sacramento Kings. Their fast-paced play and athleticism could be decisive, especially against a Denver team facing the challenges of a back-to-back game schedule. The Kings' advantage of rest and their track record of success at home against Denver adds to their edge. Despite Denver's strong season and Jokic's outstanding performances, Sacramento is well placed to exploit Denver's potential weariness, pushing the tempo and maximizing scoring chances, especially from three-point land and at the free throw line, despite their struggles with the latter this season. In summary, the Sacramento Kings are expected to not only emerge victorious, but also beat the spread, driven by their offensive prowess, rest advantage, and historical edge over the Nuggets on their home court. The game is likely to be a high-scoring affair, hinting at surpassing the total points line, a testament to both teams' scoring abilities and defensive shortcomings. Hence, the play is on the Sacramento Kings to take the win, highlighting their resilience and strategic depth in NBA play. The last prediction for today is for the game between New Orleans Pelicans and Los Angeles Lakers. Tonight's clash at the Staples Center is set to be a hoop spectacle as the New Orleans Pelicans take on the Los Angeles Lakers. Riding high on a 4-game win streak, the Pelicans are geared up to further assert their dominance following victories over the Rockets, Spurs, Raptors, and Clippers. On the other side, the Lakers are determined to improve their season tally, coming from a varied performance with 8 wins out of their last 13 games. Looking at the stats, the Pelicans are unleashing serious offensive might, netting an average of 116.9 points on 48.8% shooting, while also putting the clamps on defense, holding teams to 112.5 points on 46.4% shooting. Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram have been key, dropping 22.1 and 21.7 points per game respectively. Their sharpshooting from downtown at 37.9% and rebounding prowess with an average of 44.5 boards per game highlight their strong offensive and defensive play. The Lakers, with their own set of aces, are scoring an average of 116 points with a slightly better shooting accuracy of 49.1%, but are giving up 117.1 points to opponents. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are leading the charge, amassing nearly 50 points and 19.6 rebounds between them. However, their defensive lapses, particularly in defending the three-point line, allowing 37.7% success to opponents, might be their Achilles heel. A closer examination shows the Lakers lagging in offensive rebounds and three-point shots, bottoming out at 30th in the league for both. The Pelicans, meanwhile, are adept at curtailing opponents' three-point efficiency, leading the league by holding them to just 34.4% from beyond the arc. Reflecting on their last face-off on New Year's Eve, which saw the Pelicans dominating by 20 points, and considering the Lakers' taxing schedule with back-to-back games, the outlook seems grim for the home team. Past encounters favor the Pelicans, especially with their 8-5 record against the spread when well-rested, boasting an average victory margin of plus 6.2 points. Conversely, the Lakers have found it tough in consecutive games with a 1-7 record against the spread. Taking into account the stats, current form, and the Lakers' recent grueling schedule, the Pelicans stand out with their offensive efficiency, defensive solidity, and the advantage of rest. While the Lakers have the home court and an offensive efficiency of 114.8 points per 100 possessions with a plus 4.8 net rating, the Pelicans' recent defensive efficiency, ranked 6th over their last 5 games, allowing only 109.8 points per 100 possessions with a plus 11.3 net rating, seems to tip the balance in their favor. With the odds favoring the New Orleans Pelicans by a 1-point spread and an over-under total set at 235.5 points, the prediction tilts towards a Pelicans win. Their form, defensive statistics, and the Lakers' back-to-back game challenges and potential fatigue point to a Pelicans victory and them covering the spread. I'm placing my bet on the New Orleans Pelicans to win and cover the spread.